Lena Dunham going to bat for Taylor Swift. Now, among criticism that Taylor Swift hadn't really been stepping forward to voice her political opinions given the giant reach that she has, Lena Dunham told Rolling Stone magazine this: "I just think everyone has to do it their way. When I was lesser known, I was like, who could not share their opinion? Then I found out that when you talk about politics, people straight up tweet you the floor plan of your house and say they're coming to your house. You have to fucking watch it because people are nuts." Now, this is in reference, as I said earlier, to Taylor Swift having this giant reach and not necessarily using it to voice her political opinion. Oop. Okay, I was fidgeting and I just threw that. I was so angry that I threw my highlighter. Don't worry, leave it. Just leave it. Taylor Swift has kind of dipped her toes into the political waters, tweeting on January 21st during the Women's March, "So much love, pride, and respect for those who marched. I'm proud to be a woman today and every day." According to the Huffington Post, they write, the critics were quick to point out that Swift's transformation into a feminist icon at that point and during the 1989 album promotional tour could have been just used as a marketing tool at a time when feminism was becoming a buzzword among young women on the internet. Thoughts, 5 words or less?
Lena Dunham doesn't know everything.
She knew it was trouble.
Not Swift to speak out.
Girls, girls, girls.
Brett.
Sounds like it's a stance, but it's not. It's just the word 3 times.
It's a song.
I don't.
Yeah, oh, that's right. Girls, girls.
From Van Halen, right?
Girls, girls, girls.
Oh, I was thinking like girls all over.
Van Halen, yes? Am I right? No,
Yeah.
Molly Crew? Molly Crew, thank you. He's like, no, Carter, get it together. Brett, I agree with Lena Dunham in the sense that just because someone has this huge reach doesn't mean that they have the obligatory responsibility of talking about said issue. You know, when Black Lives Matter was coming to the forefront, I got a lot of flack from some of my followers on Twitter for not speaking out about it, and I felt that's kind of unfair. Lena Dunham also says everyone does it on their own time, in their own way. So for Taylor to not say anything, we shouldn't vilify her. And honestly, before you comment trolls, come out of your cave and kill me. I don't think Taylor Swift. I don't get that she really genuinely cares about stuff like this unless it's opportunistic. Unless
and that's a problem.
Yeah, it is a problem. It is a problem.
Technically, you're allowed to do whatever you want.
Right.
Taylor's allowed to do whatever she wants. But to come at this like, oh, I'm tired of politics or I don't want to get involved is, people aren't going to like it, but it's ultimately a privileged position. It's not like, oh, my rights aren't in danger. Oh, my humanity isn't in danger. So I ultimately view this as non-essential. It's extremely essential for so many people. And again, you know, it's her prerogative to do this, but it's ultimately a shitty prerogative.
But Kim, wouldn't you rather, Kim, and you make very good points, and I think you're right in some of that, but don't you think it's more important for someone to authentically and genuinely want to passionately support a movement or stand in solidarity with something versus jumping on the bandwagon and being like, hey, this is cool?
I'm not saying bandwagon. I'm saying she can do what she wants. It just kind of sucks that she doesn't want to help other people. I mean, in her position. Yeah, she can do that. I just don't care for it.
Yeah. I don't agree with both of you on a couple of things. I think when you type in Taylor Swift now, it's going to pop up Taylor Swift doesn't speak out on women's rights or this, instead of being more articles about what women's rights are advocating for. So it's taken away from what people really need to increase their exposure on, because how many times have you seen trolls out there going, well, what are women's rights actually marching for? And not just trolls, people were genuinely curious as to what the cause was, and that gets buried under celebrity status out there because people are like, well, why is Taylor Swift not speaking out? I couldn't give a shit if Taylor Swift speaks out or not. It doesn't bother me. I want people to be enlightened about the matter.
You're not her audience.
Her audience is a country-based audience to start with, so she's understanding.
She's she's national.
But that's
a good point.
And I think that's where she's worried a little bit about it, because she's a businesswoman as well, and she's thinking, I started with a country audience, and that's an audience that might consider themselves to align with a different political party. So I don't think that we should be scrutinizing it. I think she's dipped her toes in being a feminist, right? Because she started to put forward that opinion, and therefore she's more than likely going to speak out about women's rights. But you're not going to want her to get into conversations about Betsy DeVos or any other political opinion, because it's just going to convolute the real case at hand.
So your first point was one of, now we're talking about a celebrity like bullshit story kind of. Is Taylor Swift talking, is she not, versus like fighting on the front lines. But I think the counter to that is we are fighting on the front lines. That has been covered a lot, which is great and a victory for it. And then I just think like in Game of Thrones, there's the battle that's happening on the field, but then they always send like envoys to activate other armies. And I think the reason that this shot is being sent toward like Taylor Swift is to say, listen, we're fighting this war and the front feels like it is slowly moving the right direction. Imagine how much further it could move if you got off your fucking ass and helped us. But now that said, I think you also have to think about like what might Taylor Swift's position be? Because you can't assume that she'd be on your side 100%. And from Taylor's perspective, if she were to air something that wasn't 100% the party line that's fighting, I think people would jump the fuck down her throat. And I think she's probably thinking to herself, I don't have to, but maybe it would be great if she did voice her genuine opinion, then heard the backlash to it, and then said, oh, here's a better version of that. But that is all hypothetical.
Right, and I think that leans on my point too, is that she probably knows it's trouble to get into this conversation. And also, if Taylor Swift was to speak out, because Kimmy talked about her reach being global, and especially here in the United States, because she is an American treasure, do you think her speaking out about political issues would even matter? Because so many celebrities now, it's almost as if it's the boy who cried wolf. It becomes just it loses the effect, I guess.
Yeah, is Taylor Swift good at political messages too? Like, regardless of what it is, like she might be bad at it. And I can think of a billion celebrities who spoke up on stuff and weren't good at it.
Her enemy, Katy Perry, did.
Yeah.
Her enemy.
Maybe that's it. Maybe
Katy Perry did.
What a victory if they were on the same side, though.
It's a valid point, is when you try to drag something out of something that's not authentically there, then you're going to get a half-assed response to it. So to clear things up, I'm fully for celebrities speaking out when they're passionate about something, when it comes from a truthful place, and when they remain consistent. Watch my videos on Facebook. I cannot speak highly enough about Colin Kaepernick or Ashton Kutcher recently, because you know what? They're being active and they're continuing the conversation. So the way we approach someone like Taylor Swift for not speaking out is the way that those on the right will approach the celebrities for speaking out. So we're not any better than if we're trying to condemn them for not speaking out on a matter that really, if they were to come out from an unauthentic place, which she's not really sharing their opinion, so I'm scared she would come out and rush it.
Well, the thing is, it looks like she's capitalized off of feminism, and then she's not standing by it when it's not, exclusively beneficial to her, which comes off as false. And I think that's a really good criticism that you mentioned off the top.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, again, the quote was, so much love, pride, and respect for those who marched. I'm proud to be a woman today and every day. And it does depend on the way in which we call out to these celebrities. I think you're absolutely right, where it's, if you are just yelling at them to shame them because you're angry, that's not okay. But I think if it is a genuine, and it's hard to manage that when so many people are involved in calling out a celebrity. But if it is a genuine, like, Taylor, why don't you at least go call Lena Dunham and have a conversation with her so you can hear someone from that who I tend to agree with, even though sometimes the show.
I was going to say that. But do you think that as soon as we start getting into that murky waters, right, there's already so much division between those that are speaking out for and against something. As soon as we get into the area of, all right, well, if you're not speaking out, then you're against us.
Absolutely.
As soon as we get into that, I think that it starts to get really convoluted.
But it does.
Yes, I mean, if you're just saying you're against us, but if you are saying like, all right, I'm going to lay out a case, Taylor. You did kind of tweet that you were with us.
Yeah.
But then what? Then where? Exactly as Kim says. Like, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I think it's
Kim
a valid point.
wins today.
Kim and I talked about this actually on Nerd Alert, because we were like, if you're a tech company and you host thousands of immigrants in your company, yeah, you're obliged to speak out because you're directly affected by that going on. So in Taylor Swift's example, what I mentioned about her points on feminism, yeah, she should be a little bit more vocal on that, but we shouldn't be condemning it the same way that, like, if you're Kate Upton, who we'll talk about soon, and you come out against something, and then you stay silent on the matter at hand, that's where you should be condemned. That's where you should be facing the internet trolls for speaking out on something and then not remaining consistent about it, because that's what gets under my skin more than anything. Is if someone speaks out on something they're passionate about and they really want to get involved in, and then someone doesn't speak out about it, I'm not worried about that. If someone speaks out against them, like many celebrities did in Colin Kaepernick, that pisses me off, because you're speaking out against him and you're not remaining consistent about the matter that he's actually speaking out about. I think that makes sense.
That makes complete sense, friends.
I don't know.
All right. Well, what do you guys think? I think that was a great conversation. I think we solved all America's problems. Give us your thoughts. Subscribe to this channel and watch Francis's Facebook videos. We'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.